It's like a Swiss train. Welcome everyone to the November 20th, 2025 Planning Board meeting for the town of Poughkeepsie. Please join me for the pledge to start.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll get right into the agenda. First up is Stratford Farms 3-lot subdivision. I see you're all prepped, so give us an update on what you've changed since last time.
Certainly, we're here for application for final subdivision approval. There has been a submittal to address comments made on the conditional preliminary. I'll let Margaret review those briefly.
There weren't that many
We
comments.
could just make sure you're speaking to the mic, so, because it's on the video and stuff. Right. Thank you.
There were minor comments, mostly addressing some landscape issues and a little bit of grading, and there weren't really that many comments. We've addressed all the comments. We've actually submitted to the health department. We got a comment letter back today, and they basically just want us to change a note and add a comment and pay a fee. So they're
Right.
ready to sign.
Sounds good. Eric?
Sure. Yeah, as Margaret mentioned, the board last time granted a preliminary subdivision approval and wanted to see details on the landscaping conditions prior to final. Those have been submitted. Staff had a few comments about just some of the text language in them, which if the applicant is amenable, seem perfectly reasonable for a final approval. A couple of brief corrections, just for the record, on our comment number 1B. The phrase density covenant is a typo, should have been feed covenant. There's at the bottom of the page, 1/2 square feet should be 1/2 square foot, and one change in the recommendation, rather than in number 1C, was to retain the applicant's proposal for a condition to allow for town approval on changes for modification or removal of such plantings. In case in the future there's some reason to consider it, we didn't want to eliminate that possibility. I think that was pretty much it.
All right.
Oh, and the planning board member had asked me if the asked if the fence was still proposed in addition to the landscaping, and it does appear on the map.
Yep. All right, Bobby, how's
Just a couple
Water
minor
issue.
comments. Health department approval, which sounds like we're close to. Just sorting out the meets and bounds for the lots and the easements. And then just one minor comment on the SWIP, looking for just some summary charts to document the changes from the previously approved SWIP and the amendment. So relatively minor.
Okay, so stormwater is a big concern of neighbors, but I
Yeah.
see that the grading is mostly away from the neighbors at this point.
Yep.
So it should be, you agree that's less water than the previous?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right, at this time, I move we open the public hearing.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Just for the people on Zoom, we have a 6-member board tonight, including one alternate, Michael Travick, filling in for Steve. Anyone wish to comment on this application tonight in the audience here? On Zoom?
Anyone on Zoom? No, doesn't look like it, actually.
No.
All applicants.
Yeah, we had lots of comments last time. We tried to address them all. I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 6-0. All right, go around the board for final comments. Start with Peter.
Just a couple of brief comments. I'm glad to see that you adjusted the height of the plantings from 6 to 8 feet. I noticed lots 1, 2, and 3. Lot 1, you have 6 evergreens lot 2, you have 12 evergreen, and lot 3, you have 9 evergreen. Why the difference in the use of those plantings? Was it because of maybe some existing vegetation?
I think it, here we go. I think it's just the way that it worked out. There are some larger trees in lot 2.
Okay, so it's a question of existing vegetation.
Yeah, and the selection and the size of the trees that are
Yeah.
being planted.
And you think in lot number 1, you have only 6 of the evergreen, the rest are all deciduous trees. But you think that the 6 evergreen?
There is vegetation. There is some
existing
existing
vegetation.
vegetation between the houses.
I also wonder if this might be a typo. In lot 3, you have 360 pussy willow plantings. Is that a typo?
No, but
I mean,
it's
that's a
not
lot of
just,
pussy
it's
willows.
not just in lot 1, it's all of the lots.
Okay, it's noted on the plan that it's in lot 3.
Right, but it's where we're putting the core logs, so you put the plantings into the core logs.
Don't get me wrong, I love pussy willow, but, you know, that's a lot of pussy willow. But, okay, that's fine, I'm not complaining.
They're small like plugs.
The other thing is, everyone, the other members of the board could chime in here. The fence, a post and rail fence, is really not going to provide much screening. You know, I'm not really sure if, you know, that's really necessary. It could long-term become a maintenance issue.
Well, I actually think the post and rail fence, well, there's enough trees that I guess you're not gonna walk to the edge of them, but it's like a delineator that now you're gonna have
Okay.
a slope.
Great, okay, thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, follow the tree line. I assume the pussy willows are helping with the slope stabilization.
Write it down.
Yes.
All right, Nicole?
Yeah, I don't really have anything for you. Ultimately, we just want to make sure that all of these plantings are maintained, which we're doing, so there's really nothing else on my end.
Rocco, anything?
No further comment.
Sharon?
No comment.
Michael?
No comment.
Yep, and that was, yeah, I echoed Peter's comments about the 6 to 8 foot plantings. Thanks for changing that, because that'll give it a much better start for the screening that the neighbors are wishing for. And, good to go.
Okay. I move the planning board grant conditional final major subdivision approval for the Stafford Farms 3-lot subdivision subject to the following. Respond to the comments of the planning board and those received from town departments and agencies, and said responses to be reviewed by the planning department as adequacy and completeness inclusive of, but not limited to, the following 1 through 7.
Second.
Moved and seconded for conditional. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6 to 0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is 21 Springside Avenue.
Can you hear me? Okay. I'm Ciro Interanti. This is my associate, Nicole Papastavro. We were here last month showing this project, and there were some comments that were generated by the engineering department and the planning staff, and I want to go over those with you. One of them was to show a detail of a pavement here. We were taking one parking space to create a fenced-in area for the refuse bins. So in order to give up that space, we added one in this area. Another comment was about providing some curbing around the proposed addition with some landscaping, so we're showing that here also. There was a comment about the ability to provide this access. This is a secondary means of egress from the lower level, and a sidewalk across here to connect to an existing sidewalk and lighting along the way. I'm going to show you that on the other side of this board, show the details of how we're going to handle that. And then one of them was about the sign, which is being handled by Glody Neon, and I think there was a question about lighting, but I'll let them handle that. So I did speak to the engineering department this afternoon and explained some of these solutions. I think there was another comment about existing lighting. We just took a picture of the existing lighting since we're not proposing any changes to the existing pole lights that are on the parking area existing. This is a detail of the lighting around the new addition, and then along the back pathway, we're proposing some low-level bollard lighting, which would shine a pattern in this direction. So they would be mounted on top of this retaining wall. So the fact that the grade drops off near this property line, we're showing a segmented block retaining wall and the side to support the grade and be able to put the sidewalk close to the property line and be able to get access around and connect to an existing sidewalk, which would provide access to the existing parking lot. So there's the detail for that. There was another comment about signage for the handicap parking, which we provided the detail for that. There was a comment about the pavement detail, which we provided, and the sidewalk detail, and then a stockade fence enclosure for the refuse bins. And I think that was pretty much it. We'd be more than happy to talk about any other comments that might be still open.
Yep. Thanks for the presentation. Start with Kristen.
Yeah, so thank you for going through the updates. I appreciate that. It's on for a seeker review, site plan review, and architectural review. For seeker purposes, it's a type 2 action requiring no further environmental review. For site plan purposes, planning staff had fairly minor comments. Most notably was about the lighting and how you were handling that. There was no photometrics plan sheet provided with the plan set, understanding that most of the lighting was existing or to remain. We might want to take a closer look at the bollard, like the lit lighting, again, understanding where that is being shown. Traditionally, we're looking for a full shield. We don't want anything spilling to the property to the northwest. We know that's residential property. Ultimately, lighting is enforced by our zoning department, so if it became an issue, not that we want to kick the can down the road, but certainly staff can work with the applicant to work through the final plan for that. If the board felt comfortable, in most cases, we're asking for a photometrics plan to ensure that that code requirement is being met. So again, that's purview of the board if you want to, require that. It is an additional expense and time, but I just, again, I wanted to make sure the board was aware of that. I think it's .2 that's required at the property line in ATC.
Yeah, just gonna make sure it's not glaring into the neighbor's windows or anything.
Right, and I do know that there were some engineering comments. I'll let engineering staff talk about that. Otherwise, it is on for a public hearing, so staff is recommending that the board open the hearing, hear any comments, potentially close it, and grant a conditional approval depending on how the conversation goes.
Yep. All right, thanks, Kristen. Bobby?
Yeah, after, we did meet with Ciro after the last meeting and go over the new layout, and I did do a site inspection to confirm the grades over there on the property line, as that sidewalk is very close to the property line. And it appears that Ciro has come up with a plan to add a retaining wall to help with that grade situation. It's about like a 2-foot drop off, give or take. I think the retaining wall will work. It'll be the fix for the concerns we had.
So it'll be next to that driveway of the other house?
Yeah, and it should fix that issue with the slope dropping off right there. It'll give them space to put that walkway in. It's probably the best solution for where the walkway should go, as
Okay,
opposed to wrapping around the whole
That's
building.
what I was wondering, if the walkway would
Yeah.
come out to the existing sidewalk, the other going to the east. But
So I'm pretty comfortable with the new proposal for the retaining wall on the sidewalk. Also, our other concern was protecting the new frontage of the building, as Ciro touched on, with some sort of barrier, which they're wrapping that existing curb island around, adding some landscaping. It'll look nice and also protect the building from the parking lot and the vehicle travel, so. I think actually with the updated plans, most of our comments, have been addressed. We probably need to tweak a few things with, you know, maybe some notes on slopes for the sidewalk. How high the wall is actually going to be. It looks like just a couple feet.
Okay.
But I think we can handle it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks. This time I move we open the public hearing.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Anyone wish to comment on 21 Springside application? Don't go too far.
No one in the room, and it looks like there's no one but applicants on the Zoom,
So, seeing none, I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Go around the board for comments now. Start with Nicole.
After looking at this second time, I questioned whether or not you knew if the houses next to you and behind you were residential or if they were owned. Do you know the answers to those questions? By any chance?
If they're rentals, you mean, or?
Yeah, if they were rentals or if they were
I don't know.
one family.
I don't know whether they're rentals or people are actually living, or the owners live. I know the owner owns, according to the Dutchess County Partial Viewer, the owner owns, I think, 2 or 3 of these all in a row. In fact, I think he owns all. This is our subject property, and I think all 3 of these adjoining are owned by the same person.
Okay.
They are owned by the same person, so I'm sure he might, maybe, I'm not sure. He might live in one of them and rent the other 2, or he might rent all 3
The
of them,
reason
I
why
don't
I
know.
was asking that is because he's asking for zoning, of only like 3 feet to the rear. And so I was just wondering, you know, if that was someone else's property.
It's close, to- yeah.
It's really
Sidewalk
close,
to the
yeah,
property line,
it's really close to the property line, but if he owns it, then it's not a problem, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, all 3 of these are owned by a person named Philip Mastromarino, and he lives at 17 Springside Avenue.
Okay,
It's the same address for all 3 of those.
okay,
neighbor,
so it's
yeah.
the same, yeah, it's the same person. Okay,
This is 21.
all right,
Great.
thank you.
Rocco?
No further comment.
Sharon?
No comment.
Michael?
I was just curious about the sign. Is this facing the arterial?
The proposed sign?
Yes.
No, it's located right here on Springside. Right near the front entrance to the existing front entrance to the property. Right here.
I can see what you're pointing at. No other comments.
All right, thanks, Michael. Peter?
I'm glad to see the building occupied. It's a nice improvement, and good luck. Thank you.
Similar, I'm glad you worked out the sidewalk issue. I was worried it was too close to the property line, but it sounds like you got with engineering there, worked out the details, retaining wall. And that's it. Just I would say to work with staff to make sure that the light spillage is not happening, since you don't have a photometric plan. Just one of the conditions of approval to
And they still have to go to the ZBA too,
just
right?
double check that.
They still have to go to
It
the
has
ZBA.
and
It
then-
depended on the signage, I know, yeah, Chrissy, had a question about the distance, I thought, from the property line, and then there's also a rear yard setback
Right.
requirement, so.
Small area variances.
may.
Okay, possible.
I mean, it looks like a nice sign.
Mhm.
All right,
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, all right. I move the planning board hereby determine that 21 Springside Avenue is type 2 action per part 617.5C9, requiring no further environmental review.
moved and seconded for seeker. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Move the planning board grant conditional site plan approval for 21 Springside Avenue, subject to the following. Respond to comments of the planning board and those received from the departments and agencies, and send response to be reviewed by the planning department as adequacy and completeness, inclusive of, but not limited to, the following 1 through 8.
And 8 includes the lighting comment to review with staff on the way up.
Second it.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go, good luck.
Thank you.
As Peter said, it's good to see the building reused.
Thank you.
Eastdale Village, come on down, Jeff.
Carl, I'm just realizing I didn't actually, we didn't actually, do an architectural review officially. The changes were fairly, isolated on the building, but,
So we want,
Yeah, I've been by there, it didn't look like you were changing much, let's do a quick.
sorry, Jeff. Do you have anything to share just in terms of the architectural?
you were
Because I know
changing.
they're pretty isolated,
Didn't think you were
so.
changing much, that's why I didn't go for that.
I'm sorry, but didn't bring my
Hearing aids tonight, can you just say that one more time what you're looking for?
Did you change any architecture? What architectural changes on the building, or are you leaving the building as it is mostly?
Do we have, no, we don't have an access to a computer. We did submit the PDFs of that. Basically, it's, a three-sided addition here, matches the eave height of the existing building. It's a hip roof consistent with the hip roof design of the main building. It ties back in above the hip roof with a ridge that ties back into the main roof. Same thing here, it's a very small, I think it's like 4 or 5 feet wide addition on the side of the building. Same concept, hip roof tying into the
Stairs coming
hip roof of the existing building. Same siding, wood siding, you know, color, same thing.
They're matching existing,
We're all matching the existing as to the, you know, greatest extent possible.
all right? I move we accept architecture as presented.
I have a question. They have any additional HVAC?
It's, there's going to be,
Where is it,
they're mini split systems. There's an HVA, there's a mechanical room in the center of the basement. The whole proposal is to develop the basement as office use, which I think we showed the floor plan previously. There's a mechanical room in the middle of the basement, and we're gonna utilize that area to run ductwork throughout the basement. And it'll be, there'll be, you know, air conditioning equipment on the side of the building with refrigerant lines running to an air handling unit in that same mechanical room in the basement. So everything is,
Will be screening of bushes?
there could be bushes, there'll be small, you know, a small heat pump type unit on the outside of the building.
All right, I'll be okay if staff
We'll take a look at it, yeah.
take
It's,
a look at that.
Nothing on the roof then for the,
It's not on the roof, it's a hip roof, we're not putting anything on the roof.
but just to be clear, you would like a couple of bushes if we feel it needs
Well, I think it should blend in with everything else, yeah. I mean, I'll count
Okay.
on staff's
okay.
judgment on that.
Okay.
Because it can get, they can get kind of ugly.
We can do that.
all right,
All right, thank you.
sounds good. Then I, any other comments? I move we accept architecture as presented
Second.
with Rocco's suggestion to look at the bushes. Let's look at the screening. Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, motion passes 6-0. Now you can, now you can back up.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very much.
And you don't have to come back now. All right, Jeff.
I feel like I was just here.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, good evening, Board. If I can share my screen here. Okay, so I hope you're as excited about this as we are. So at Eastdale, we are proposing to add a piazza. And it's to be located on Eastdale Avenue South, not in the first block off of Route 44, but in the second block to really permanently close that section of the street down and create additional open space. And in fact, when we did the zoning review here, Eric and I had a conversation about what the pavilion, but our interpretation is that the primary use of this is as passive outdoor recreation, and then the pavilion is an accessory structure. And that matters in terms of some of the setbacks, not that there's any issue there, but that's really how we approach this, as adding additional outdoor recreation to the entire project. Really, it's changing the hardscape to create more usable and active space within the project, permanent benches and seat walls, and then movable tables and chairs. We already hold programmatic events within East Hill generally, and in this portion of East Hill Avenue. On occasion, we have the farmers market set up. We have our second Fridays, which are both on the green on the west side of East Hill Avenue, and now we can also hold them on this side. For those types of events, we get a permit from the town board, and so those are ongoing. We get the permits that allow these projects to take place. This is just really to formalize the space, so it is permanent open space. And then, as always, for financing purposes, it always comes into play. And I will tell you, this is we are doing our best to make the budget work on this. But for financing purposes, it needs to be on its own lot, and so we've carved out a very small lot. It's about a quarter of an acre lot from the three lots that ring this portion of East Hill Avenue South. So the existing buildings, K1 and K2, which are Sims Podiatry, and the Medi Spa, and then the new Lola's Restaurant, which is going in on the north side. There are some timing issues here, which is why when it came together really quickly, because Lola's intends to open first quarter of next year, and it needs to be done, right? If we're going to do it right, it's got to be done before they open. We don't want to certainly don't want to disrupt them in their grand opening. So we're trying to get this in place and move ahead right away. And I provided some images of how this would really lay out, and you can see that this is tents for the farmers market, big tent for again other types of events, but we've kind of laid this out and laid out the trees. Not changing the lighting, but made sure we could work within the existing pole lighting on the site, and it does indeed work. This is again the less exciting actual site plan is submitted, but this is the landscape plan showing some of the changes. Really the trees that are added, some changes to the roadway striping, additional shrubbery. One of the things that ended up on the plans and we really needed to take out is on the plans there ended up a pole there with a directional sign directing parking, and that was kind of as we reviewed this more, what we submitted, it's kind of the last thing we want people to see as they're driving down East Hill Avenue is a sign there. So we really want to kind of take that directional sign out of there. And the thought behind that is, people driving to their house, they don't need a sign, right? They know they can find their way home. And people that are driving to the commercial users, they were always going to have to turn down that end of the parking lots because the parking is behind. So we really, as we thought more about it, number one, we didn't want the sign there because we thought it would, where the placement of it was wrong. And then we realized we really didn't need a sign to direct people because they're going to be able to find the parking behind it just as they would otherwise. And some of this as well is very helpful because it's before Lola's and Building J would open. So people don't have to relearn how to get there. They'll figure it out. And certainly the traffic in the K1, K2 users is much lighter than what would be expected from the restaurant. And then this is just the subdivision plan. You can see the existing lots, and then the new lot is carved right out of the middle. not too exciting. It will be an open development lot. The town board authorized it, and this board has granted open development, which just means that the lot doesn't have access, doesn't have frontage on a public road, but this would be an open development lot under the code.
And who, is that owned then by,
I'm sorry, who owns?
yeah, who owns that?
This will be owned by MHTC Development LLC.
Okay.
They'll retain, retaining the ownership of it. And these, obviously, these owners had to agree to give up that piece of land, but I think they're happy to do that.
All right. Looks good, Jeff.
Thanks.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
All right, Eric?
Sure. So the project is subject to seeker review, site plan and preliminary subdivision hearing, and architectural review for the proposed new pavilion. The closure would result in about a piazza or plaza of about 75 by 130 feet, more or less. It addressed some of the pre-application concerns as Jeff discussed. We did raise one question for board discussion with regard to noise and parking demand. I don't think it's actually gonna be that much, but there's no specific regulation, so that's really a matter of planning board discretion. Then we've provided you with resolutions for preliminary and final approval if you're inclined to that. And the one correction to the resolution of the final conditions, number 5, Dutchess County Department of Health approval. I would change that to approval, comma, if required, comma, upon the site plan and the subdivision plan, prior to chairman's signature.
All right.
So it's a little unclear as to whether the subdivision will certainly, both of the plan sets were submitted with blanks for the Dutchess County Department of Health signature. So they are expected to be on, for both. And, the board had asked about changes in parking, and a further look at the plans indicates that on the east side where the plaza is proposed, there's a loss of about 6 spaces by closing the street. There's 6 parallel parking spaces that were on Eastdale Avenue. So it's a reduction of 6, resulting in a net minus 2 spaces on the east side development. And on the west side is still minus 5 spaces overall. So those are within the range of the changes over time in the board's approval of amendments. They've ranged, I don't recall the specific numbers, but they've ranged from anywhere from 1 or 2 or 3 up to about 8 or 10 or 12.
Yep, it's varied here and there over the various amendments. All right, thanks, Eric. Bobby, any concerns?
A few concerns, nothing too crazy. One question was how this was going to impact loading deliveries, loading zones. I don't know if you want to touch on that.
Sure. Again, the 2 users on the south side, both the podiatrist and the med spa, just don't get a lot of deliveries, and so whatever comes into the front door will just come into the back door. We don't think that'll be a big issue. Lola's isn't open yet, and again, any deliveries they'll get will come in either the park on the side where the loading zones are defined, or come in the rear. So we don't think it'll be much of an issue there.
Okay.
Jeff, could I just chime in for a second? I was there not too long ago, and there was a delivery that delivered right in the middle of the street. Is that something that happens normally? He parked right, it was a tractor trailer, he parked right in the middle of the street.
On this side of the road or the other side of the road?
In the middle of the street, I was at Hudson Nails for
Okay.
for their anniversary.
Yeah, yes, do people park in the middle of the street? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do we encourage it? Absolutely not. But sometimes it just happens that people pull up there, they decide it's the easiest place to stop, and they stop there. So they won't be able to stop in this block. That doesn't mean they won't stop in the first block, but there's good access for tractor trailers to get around this site, and we think they'll just have to continue to use that. So they'll turn a block earlier than they would have otherwise. Yes, will some people have to relearn a route? Absolutely. Do we think it's a big imposition? No, and it's one of the trade-offs we think is worth it.
All right. Anything else?
We had a couple comments on drainage, just fine tuning how it's gonna impact the existing drainage. They are adding a structure as well. And then, one consideration, which is not a requirement, per the SWIP, but if there's any way we could use this as an opportunity to turn some of this into a pervious surface and recharge the groundwater with some of that stormwater runoff, it would be great to do so. But not required for them to do. They are replacing impervious with impervious, so there's no change.
In kind.
But it would be good if possible. But
Right.
that's pretty much the highlights.
So nothing that would prevent a conditional.
No.
Great. Thanks. At this point, I move we open the public hearing.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Anyone wish to comment on the Eastdale application? Seeing none, I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Let's go around the board for comments. Start with Michael.
Is there any difference, is there gonna be any difference in, stormwater drainage from doing this?
Minimally, but not really.
Okay, there's no difference.
Yeah.
Then I don't have any other comments.
Sharon?
None.
Rocco?
Yeah, I've got a question for you, Jeff. I see the piazza and the road as the cars come in. What are the protections for the people that are in the piazza?
So
And also from the other end?
No, that's good, and maybe this plan helps you. So this is
We're not
Canton.
seeing
Yeah, can you
your
put your
screen right
hand
now.
back up? Can you share your screen again?
I thought I was, maybe I'm not.
I think
You dropped it off when we did the public hearing.
Yeah, right.
which was very
See.
nice. That's the right thing to do.
Right.
He's had plenty of
There we go.
practice.
There we go, okay, now we got it, okay, all right, so, so this is the, Eastdale Avenue, again, it's at an angle here, but you can still understand this. So there are walls at both ends, it's like a 2-foot, wall, that'll keep cars from going into the
A
piazza.
2-foot wall, you said?
Yes, 2-foot high wall,
Okay.
so.
And then, are they planter-like devices where you're gonna have plants in there? Because I noticed that there are shrubs there or something.
Yes, on the outside of both ends, there'll be shrub to help, right, with the look.
So that 2-foot wall is like a planter then?
Yes, well, I'm sorry, it's a seat wall, you'll sit on top of it, but the plants are in front of it.
Okay, and now will that be in a concrete planter of some type or
The-
just?
Well, the wall will be, yes, the wall will be like a concrete or some sort of reinforced structure, so it'll stop cars. We thought about that, and it was a concern of ours as well, but didn't really want to have like a picket fence of bollards here, 'cause we thought that wouldn't look good, so we thought the wall, you got a curb there, and you've got the wall, we thought that would be the best protection. There is room on the side, so, maintenance vehicles can get around it and can drive in, but there's not a lot of room there between the curb, and there are other trees and other light poles and stuff, so you can't easily drive into here. But this is, we think, at both ends, is the best protection to keep people from coming straight down the road
Okay.
and driving into the
Now,
piazza.
during the evening, there's going to be events there?
Yes.
Is there any way we can shield the people from the headlights coming in?
Oh, so you're saying the headlights would shine down
Right into that
into
piazza
that-
from both ends. I'm just curious because when it's there, there's going to be activity, I suspect.
Right.
Could be a movie night, there's a drop-down screen. for
Yeah, it could
movies.
be a movie night, it could be whatever. I'm just bringing it up, throwing it out
Yeah.
to the rest of the board also.
Yeah. Not
to
something
see
we
if
thought about, but
there's-
it's a good comment. We may want to have some kind of movable screen there to block it, but I think that would be a temporary structure we would just put in place if we were doing movies, I think. But you're
Yeah,
right. that it
especially
would-
at night if you're
right.
doing something, because that can blind people and, well, not, you know what I mean.
I get, yeah, right.
And then,
It's-
and
it's-
then, you know, my whimsical question is, where are the fountains?
You know,
I'm sorry.
I don't know, I will repeat budget,
I didn't mean it
budget
seriously.
again, right, that's, right. We had started with a play pad with water shooting and it just, it got crazy money, and we wanted to do that and just couldn't make it work, so.
Okay.
But it's, you're absolutely right, where are the fountains, Jeff? No,
Thank
I'll
you.
pass it on to
looks good.
Giovanni.
I really
That's,
like this.
right.
As long as you address those more important questions than the fountain,
Right.
I'll be happy.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you, Ron.
Yeah, he got rid of the fountains because he's using a Rolex for the clock tower, right? All right. Anything else?
No.
Peter?
We hear a lot about walkable communities, and your project is one of the few that I've seen that really does everything it can to encourage that walkability. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep, I've got nothing further. Everybody said it all, and it does look good. Another amenity for the residents there, anybody who visits as well.
Move the planning board find that Eastdale Village application for the 29th amended site plan and subdivision involves incremental changes to the Eastdale Village project of negligible magnitude and scope, and that no significant and consistent with previous seeker findings adopted March 15th, 2018, and amended September 17th, 2020, as modified by the proposed Eastdale Village application received October 23rd, 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I move the planning board find that the proposed modifications to the area, yard, and bulk provisions of 210-27 are consistent with the goals and objectives of the town plan and chapter 210 pertaining to the intent and purposes of the MHC district pursuant to 210-27 I-10. And that the planning board grant conditional preliminary and final major subdivision approval for the final subdivision plat showing the re-subdivision of lots 6EA and 6EB as shown as filed map number 11947D and lot 4E as shown as filed map number 11947G, Eastdale Village East, subject to the following. Respond to the comments of all reviewing departments and agencies and send responses to be reviewed by the planning department as to adequacy and completeness inclusive of but not limited to the numbered items in section E.
Second.
Moved and seconded. It's for the conditional, preliminary, and final. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
I move the planning board grant conditional amended site plan approval for this application and direct the applicant to respond in writing to comments of the planning board and those received from town departments and agencies and send responses to be reviewed by the planning department as to adequacy and completeness inclusive of but not limited to the following 1 through 7.
Hey, you're gonna add something besides the comments? Okay, so my comments are
Yep,
included in
that's
that.
included comments of the
Yeah.
planning
Okay.
board.
Second.
Number 7. Moved and seconded for conditional. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Architectural review.
Right, we remember, right. Okay, so this is simple, it's all white, right, is the Arctic white, the hardy. So and these are the 4 views of the, it's 324 square feet, pretty small, of the pavilion. There's a hardy, there's the clapboard siding and the wrapped vertical posts, and a metal roof, ash gray, again, it kind of matches the other roofs, and then the cupola on top. So you can see the 4 sides, and the black fencing around the handicap accessible route on the north side is also shown here.
And I guess it's a couple storage closets there for,
Yes, and there are 2 storage closets in the back, yeah, right, everything,
for
every time
whatever,
you need
for chairs, from
either
like
AV
things.
equipment or extra chairs or something, so we've got some storage in the back there, yes.
All right. Clock on one, just clock is on the side facing Route 44.
So, right, so and I saw the comment about, clock on 4 spaces, and forgetting for a moment that the face of the clock costs $7,000 and didn't really want to quadruple that, but when I did have a conversation with Giovanni about it, and his well, in a village setting, so where are the big 4-sided clocks? Big Ben, right, the big 4-sided clock, Grand Central Station, big 4-sided clock, but in a village setting, you want the feature to face the green, and that's really there is an intent to it, to draw your attention to that side of it, and that's really why he pushed the design for a single face.
Yeah, I mean, that's where you would be watching a movie or whatever and
Yes.
have to know what time it is. All right. Any comments on the architecture, board members?
One of the things that makes your project so inviting and so successful is its attention to architectural detail. It looks great.
Thank you.
Very nice job.
I move we accept architecture as presented for the new pavilion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. See you next month.
Again, thank you very much, we do appreciate it.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Good luck with that.
To you all. Right.
Next up is Oakwood Friends Cafeteria project.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. We're here to talk about a cafeteria project on the Oakwood campus, and referring to our dining hall building at the school. It's arguably the most traffic space on campus, with students and on-campus faculty having breakfast there, and then lunchtime is faculty and students. The proposal is kind of a threefold ADA access improvements to the space. There is a deck currently on the back of the dining hall space, and so we're going to be resurfacing that with the Trex, then improving an ADA ramp accessibility to the new entrance of the dining hall and the rear deck. The other piece, there is a photography classroom space in the floor below the dining hall, and so having ADA access to that space as well. There are currently stairs going down to that. And then the third piece is the addition of a ADA accessible bathroom on the first floor space of the dining hall.
Okay, that explains the curved path going back down.
Sure.
I'm Chris Berg, architect from Fifth Street Architecture out of Newburgh. This it's a project that we always like to do. It's physically a low impact project, but it's a high impact for the end users. The cafeteria building is one of the oldest buildings on campus. It's pretty centralized. You can't really see it from any of the streets surrounding, so it's a pretty isolated location on the 45-acre campus. And as Chad mentioned, it's the cafeteria building, but the kitchen is in the front half of the building. These are historic photos. There previously was a porch on the south-facing side, and we're going to be removing an existing non-compliant ADA ramp that was along the south side. We're going to take that off and just essentially rebuild the old porch location and make the turn this over. So rebuilding that porch and making more of a permanent ramp. But this is also a nice aspect to what we like to try to do is to make the ramp the primary entrance for everyone. So instead of going off on the side of the building and making a secondary entrance, the ramp itself will become the primary entrance for all the people using the cafeteria every day. And as Chad was saying, that not only is it the busiest building, it's probably the busiest door that's used, I think, on campus. So it'll be used every day. So it's a great way for everyone to get into the building and in an accessible way.
So
Once
that
inside,
that little set of steps is being removed, then it went down to that lower level.
the side steps that go down are more or less decorative. We see it as a way, most people, when they leave after lunch, will probably go down the steps and hang out down on
I meant the existing steps that go down, it's like,
Oh, the existing steps, yeah, that go to the,
yeah, that goes, so those.
to the photo studio, those will be taken out, and
Okay.
and a path, an accessible path to that will be provided, so. I think,
Anything else?
I think that's it.
Looks good. All right, let's go to Eric.
This application's a new application for seeker review, site plan, and architectural review. Staff believe that these criteria for type 2 action requiring no further environmental review. There's a resolution for that in your packets if you choose. We didn't really have too many comments. We did note that since another comment had been raised about the existing trash and recycling area, which typically requires an enclosure, that's really planning board discretion, and so we're inviting you to discuss that and see if it's really necessary or not. I know the applicant was gonna take a look at what was there, and so they.
Yeah, it's
they
kind of a
added
messy area
something.
with some old appliances and things, and
So-
probably could use a cleanup.
And then, just one correction, our planning comment number 8C can be deleted. We had the hard copy packet we had didn't have a Part C affidavit in it, and we received, that was later on, we received it. So that's no longer needed as an extra. With that, we provide you with resolutions for conditional approval if you're inclined, and then architectural review.
Right, thanks, Eric. Bobby?
Yeah, and one initial comment, we were looking for some clarification on how the site grades were put together for the plan, because there's a note on the plan indicating requirement for a survey to confirm some things. So we were just looking for a little narrative as to, it appears they did their due diligence because there are specific spot elevations, but we're just curious how they got there. Especially considering the nature of the project being ADA, so we want to make sure that they are meeting all ADA code requirements. We had a handful of comments on erosion controls. They do have an erosion control plan, just tweak it a little bit. And then a couple comments on the retaining walls for some more detail, and drainage for roof leaders and the wall itself to make sure those are directed appropriately. But overall.
Don't erosion from the.
Yeah, erosion or freezing conditions on the new walkways, things like that.
Or icing, yeah. All right. Conditional, you okay with it?
Absolutely.
Great, thanks. This time I move we open the public hearing.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Anyone wish to comment on Oakwood? Seeing none, I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Let's go on to the board for comments. Start with Peter.
So a question for the town engineer, Ned, is you're okay with the site plan elevations that can be condition of approval? It's not a problem.
Yeah, they have plenty of space to make the grades work as necessary. And I think it's all there, it's just, how did they get there was
Okay.
the question.
I think it's a great idea. I love the porch. It's a great place for kids to congregate and hang out after lunch or before. So good luck.
All right, Nicole?
Sure. I just want to reiterate that the water department stated that the backflow prevention was due. That needs to be done,
We
and.
actually got that done yesterday.
Okay, all right, good. So as far as the refuse is concerned, I know that there really isn't any houses close to this particular building. However, if it was fully enclosed, I think that would probably be best, or at least cleaned up a bit. As far as your lighting is concerned, I did see that you are going to get lighting that is 3,000 Kelvin. However, I do want to reiterate that we like it to be dark sky compliant as well as fully cut off, and I didn't see those details there. So I just want to confirm that with you. And I think that's it.
That was the intention, was to,
Okay.
dark
Okay.
sky compliant.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Morocco?
Yeah, just a quick question. The refuse containers which you have there are not in the refuse area itself. Are they protected from animals? So like raccoons can't open them?
Yeah, no, those are rural carting dumpsters there that are three-sided enclosed, and we actually used to have a gate across the front there, and rural carting continued to knock the gate over. So there's a few things we can do, as you said, where it's located, by extending the fencing linearly out, it would block any view of that.
Okay.
So we can take a look at a few options there.
Yeah, if you could do something like that, it's kind of a messy look at the moment.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Rocco.
No questions.
Michael?
The ADA bath that's proposed for the first floor there, is that the only bathroom in the building?
There is a bathroom in the downstairs by the photo lab, the photo classroom space, and then there's a bathroom on the second floor.
Okay.
All right.
Just want to make sure that
That covers, yeah.
kids are coming in to eat and have a place to wash.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
presently they have to go upstairs, so this will be right at the entrance.
Thank you.
All right, sounds like a big improvement, and I guess my only comments were the trash and clean up whatever things you don't need there anymore.
Okay.
Dispose of them.
Okay. Move the planning board determine that the proposal meets criteria for a seeker type 2 action pursuant to seeker part 617.5C18 requiring no further environmental review.
Second.
Moved and seconded for seeker, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
I move the planning board grant conditional site plan approval for the Oakwood Friends School cafeteria project subject to the following. Respond to the comments of the planning board and those received from town departments and agencies, and said response to be reviewed by the planning department as adequacy is inclusive of but not limited to the following 1 through 8.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 6-0. Do you have any additional things to show for architectural review?
No, but not this evening, we just brought the renderings, but
Oh, I
I
mean,
think each of those.
Are you-
But you have
you're
some
doing
in your
the-
packet.
Yeah, in the packet.
yeah, it's in the packets, but if you've done anything major, it's not any major renovation to the building per se, or, there we go. That's what.
The view of the back of the building, it's presently a deck out there now.
Yep.
We're gonna be replacing with the railing, add some additional lighting underneath, another means of egress off the back deck. When we spoke about the front porch, the front steps, either all the siding will match the existing building. The walking surfaces will be a type of composite Trex-like material. The railings are more of a simple historic vertical rail system. In general, the school is pretty simple palette of colors, white. I think
Quakers aren't known to be flashy.
yeah. So it's really simple aesthetic. The photo studio itself have a little bit of a cave-like entrance. They like it dark. And
Makes sense.
the lighting, but all in all, it's
What are the paths you show as kind of a reddish there. What are they made out of?
I think the paths are gonna be more the asphalt. The main entrance, of the ramp will be, recycling, some of the brickwork. It's a brick, patio, paver now. So we're gonna take those out, resurface and regrade the first half of the ramp before it elevates. And so this portion will be a brick entrance.
Sounds nice. Anyone have any comments?
It looks good enough to eat.
It looks good.
I move we accept architecture as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. You're good to go. Have a good night and happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you too, thank you.
Next up is SV Poughkeepsie Corporation at the Galleria. Come on down. Found a location.
Good evening, guys.
Yeah. See you again.
As if many of you remember, I was here a few months ago. We got in a different location,
Yep.
and this time I'm more prepared with a.
Could you just introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Wali Rohani, and I was here a couple of months ago. We got in a different location, and this time a little bit more prepared for the regulations and zoning regarding tobacco shops in Poughkeepsie. So this location is located in Poughkeepsie Galleria Mall, 2001 South Road. And before signing this lease, I made sure with the mall that there was another tobacco shop on the second floor of that mall, and we had to confirm before we do anything that it's closed before we get the lease. So we confirmed that as of last month. It was closed on I think October 15. And in terms of place of worship and public school, they both satisfy the 200 and the 500 feet away from the location. And the nearest smoke shop now is Smoke for Less in Wappingers. It's about 1 mile away, from if you were to look at it. And I guess that's it.
All right. Glad you found a different place. Eric?
Sure. This application is on for special use permit hearing. The applicant did not apply for site plan because there is no change to anything that would require site plan approval. Therefore, we've included a resolution to respond to the applicant's request for a waiver of site plan hearing, which appears to be met, assuming the planning board agrees with that. As far as the special use permit criteria, the applicant, there's some technical aspects with the measuring the distances required between the application and a revised map and a statement received yesterday from the applicant. None of the conflicting uses have been located within the requisite radiuses, if you accept the applicant's assertion and statement. With that, we've provided you with a resolution for special use permit approval to consider. And that's it.
All right, thanks, Eric. Probably nothing from an engineering standpoint here. It's inside a mall.
Oh, and I would also number conditions number 2 and 3. The zoning administrator in the New Hampshire Fire District didn't have any comments, so those number 2 and 3 can be deleted.
Okay.
I move we open the public hearing.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Anyone wish to comment on this application? Seeing none, I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Go around the board for comments. Nicole?
Yeah, I didn't really have any comments at first. I wondered whether or not this was okay because you're close to Bounce, but it's not related to.
Oh, you said Bounce?
Yeah, because that's
Oh,
a
Bounce.
place where kids go and.
Okay,
you know,
okay.
But,
Yeah.
but there's no correlation. Obviously, there will be no smoking in
Of
your
course,
facility.
of course.
Yeah,
Yes,
no
yes,
smoke
we just buy in and out.
zone, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah,
Yeah, but other than that, no.
yeah.
All right. Rocco, anything?
No comment.
Sharon?
No comment.
Michael?
No comment,
And Peter?
welcome.
Thank you.
Just one, under the heading of due diligence, question for the town attorney, and that is, the board's acceptance of the applicant's assertion statement relative to distance from any prohibited uses nearby. What should our position be, Madam Attorney?
So if the board is comfortable with the applicant's statement, you can accept it. If it were found that the applicant's statement were made in error, and there were uses that were within that, the board would be within its rights to rescind the special use permit, or the town would be, whether it had to come to the board or not. So, there is, it's sort of at the applicant's peril if they are not accurate in what they're representing to the board.
Okay,
All right.
that's all.
Thanks. And I think Eric had said he had done Google there as well, right?
Correct.
So, and I haven't seen any others in that area myself. So I think we're good with that. I think this will be good. You'll have a little more visibility in the mall maybe than.
Oh yeah, so it's gonna be our first place. It's a little different than outside, in retail.
Yeah.
So it's a new experience, because I'm used to the leases, at least 5 years, but it's definitely a new experience. So
Right.
yeah, more, like you said, more visibility. That's that's a plus for business. But
Well, we go through some motions here, but I wish you luck.
thank you, I appreciate that.
I move that the planning board determine that the proposed action meets the criteria for seeker type 2 action pursuant to seeker part 617.5C18, requiring no further environmental review.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded for seeker. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Move the planning board determine that the application does not require site modifications or building exterior construction will not be substantial effects on pedestrian or traffic generation or circulation, parking, wastewater flows, water consumption, additional employees, or the height of exterior facade. Will comply with BSC district lot and bulk requirements of the planning board in accordance with 210-15P. Thereby waives the requirement for a site plan review.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I move the planning board grant conditional special use permit approval for the SV Poughkeepsie Corp. Poughkeepsie Galleria application, subject to the following. Respond to the comments of all reviewing departments and agencies. Said responses to be reviewed by the planning department as adequacy and completeness inclusive of, but not limited to, the following. 1, town planning department comments dated November 7th, 2025, and comments of the planning board meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. You're good to go.
All right, thank you very much, guys, and you enjoy the rest of your evening.
To you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. We have some adjournments to do now. First one is 51 Vassar Road. I move we adjourn the public hearing to January 15, 2026.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nope. Motion passes. Oh, turn page. Chick-fil-A on South Road. I move the planning board adjourn the public hearing to January 15th, 2026.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Inwood Avenue Townhomes. I move the planning board adjourn the public hearing to December 18th, 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Spark Car Wash on Dutchess Avenue. You want to say anything about that, Eric?
Just that, the recommendation is to adjourn it, not to a specific date, and that it will be re-advertised when the applicant returns.
Take over.
Sure. I move the planning board adjourn the matter and defer action on this application as incomplete, directing the applicant to respond on the planning board's deferral of November 21st, 2024, including but not limited to the following reviewer comments as updated for the January 16, 2025 meeting, for which the applicant withdrew from the agenda without discussion. Respond to comments of the planning board and those received from town departments and agencies, and said responses to be reviewed by the planning department as to adequacy and completeness of included but not limited to the following, 1 through 13.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Next up, vertical bridge. I move the planning board adjourn the public hearing to December 18th, 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. This time I move that we allow public comment on other items on tonight's agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Anyone wish to comment on the remaining agenda items?
Did you want to comment this
Do
evening,
you want my
Cindy, or anything? No, okay, just checking, yeah, all right.
Seeing none, we'll just resume the meeting.
Okay. Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes to continue along. Self-storage at Shops at South Hills is up next.
Good evening. Ken Casamento from LRC. With me is Jack on Zoom.
Right.
Hi, everyone. I'm happy to provide a little background before Ken goes through the application that we're requesting here. My name is Jack Rosenkrantz. I work at DLC Management. We're the owner and manager of the Shops at South Hills. We're discussing an application that we had before this board about 2.5 years ago that we're revisiting now. Just to give everyone the background, this is a 80,000 square foot space at the Shops at South Hills Shopping Center. It's a former Burlington Stores that has been vacant since 2019. A few years ago, we presented an application to the town board and to the planning board seeking to convert this space into a self-storage facility. At the time, we got to the point that we were ready to get a decision on the zoning text amendment that would allow that use. And the town board sought that we include the master plan for the overall property in that application. So what that effectively meant was they wanted to see the other plans for the property, including a multifamily opportunity in some excess land off to the side and the back of the property. Subsequent to that decision, that feedback from the town board, we did bring a multifamily developer to the project. We sought to pursue all of those together and ultimately weren't able to move forward with that because of issues with the Tri-Muni sewer, which this property is a part of. So we spent quite a bit of time and effort trying to resolve those issues with the sewer. We're still continuing to go down that path, but in an effort to at least move forward on some components of the project in the meantime, we're before you today hoping to move this portion of the project forward. Again, to convert a portion of the property, which is the existing box, and repurpose it for self-storage use. And Ken can walk you through the details of the site, but I'm happy to discuss any of that background in further detail as needed.
You do something special here with it.
What's that?
Interesting screens we're seeing.
Yeah, the inception screen, I agree.
Oh, okay.
So you should be able to see this now.
Yeah, that's what,
Yeah, we do.
all right, go ahead, Ken.
So for all intents and purposes, this is the same project we had before. I'm trying to get to the slide. There it is. As you may or may not know, this is the project area is the old Burlington in the back half of the building that's been vacant for some time, as Jack pointed out. We were before the board 2.5 years ago, and for all intents and purposes, the only change was creating a real entrance and an ADA access across the parking lot. We were going to put some landscaping across the front entry to kind of mimic what's around the rest of the building. At this time, there isn't a specific tenant, so we would have to come back for architectural review when we get the specific user inside. There was one before, but there isn't one at the moment, the username. So rather than trying to go forward with the change, once we have the branding together, we'll come back for architectural approval.
Okay.
But we'd like to get this forward because there's a chicken and an egg. The companies won't look forward unless they're allowed to do it and that kind of thing, especially given what we've been through before. So we want to make sure that we can secure a approval, at least for this to proceed and go from there. So we haven't made any real changes to what was originally almost approved before.
All right, and you already have a bike rack there, so.
And Ken or Jack, I know the answer, but I'll just so you guys can say, you went to the town board again, to introduce the zoning change and got some feedback from them. You wanna tell us?
I'll let Jack speak to that. He was at that meeting.
Yeah, the town board generally was supportive of our application. They recognized some of the challenges that we experienced in trying to bring a master plan together all at once with the sewer issues that we've confronted. I think that they're supportive of this. The one change, and this was consistent with 2.5 years ago, was we originally were hoping to include a subdivision as part of this application so that we could parcel off the storage from the rest of the shopping center. That's been removed from the application, so it really is just a use approval at this point in time.
And to also carry on to that, we have now, and the town has got some traction with Tri-Muni. So we're working out, we actually have a meeting with CPL and the sewer department on Monday to start to map out what options are there, what we can do to see about future development and plans, and what we have to do to maybe get that residential track back on rolling.
All right. Thanks, Ken. And Jack, go to Kristen.
Great, thank you. So it's on for seeker review and advisory report to the town board regarding the zoning district text amendment, special use permit review, site plan review, and I had architectural review on here. Sometimes we don't formally do architectural review, but it's just nice to demonstrate, that you're going to adhere to like the sign code for the district. But understood, well, when we get there, that's fine. So just for the board's benefit, I did include just a snippet here that references the zoning text amendment, specifically that it's to amend section 21023C to add self-storage as an adaptive reuse subject to special use permit review and approval by this board, the planning board. And there is a little blurb there. I just felt like that was important to include just so you can see what the town board is considering, because this board is tasked by code to provide a quote-unquote advisory report. So if there were any comments, questions, things you wanted to identify as it's referred back to the town board, this would be the place to do so. So having that's important. It's on for seeker review for a type 1 action. In the previous application, we did circulate for lead agency intent, so we're going to do that again, just as a matter of procedure to be consistent with the prior process. So we will get that out to interested and involved agencies, although I know it is very minimal. It's on for special use permit review based on the zoning text amendment that's proposed. And site plan review. My comments were fairly minor as they were in the previous application by the time you were, going back to the town board at that time. So just cleaning up the site plan a little bit. So for this evening, staff is just recommending that the planning board adopt a seeker lead agency intent resolution and defer further action with comments. And I will just note as a matter of record for the planning board's review of this application, we did circulate to the Dutchess County Planning Department and received a matter of local concern memo. Is it?
All right. Thanks, Kristen. Engineering issues?
We had two very minor comments, just some labeling and clarification on some of the signage, the parking signage that's proposed, but very minor.
All right. Let's go around the board for comments. Peter?
Just, this is deja vu all over again. I think it's great adaptive reuse. 80,000 square feet is a lot of empty space that you're paying taxes on with no income generation, so I think it's a good idea.
Thank you.
Michael?
Has the building department's comment been resolved?
I can speak to that if you'd like. It seems to have gone to an old project manager that wasn't at DLC, so that's where it got lost in the shuffle, but Jack has been all over it and is already proceeding forward. We'll have it resolved before the next meeting. That's the intent.
Okay. I was on the flurry of those emails, so, I can attest to that.
All right. Sharon, anything?
My question's to Kristen, what is the problem with the county?
For the planning board, so there's a county referral requirement, so we send the application to them to review it. and they don't have any comments or concerns with this particular application.
Okay.
Sorry if you, I don't know what I said, but hopefully now it's clear.
Yeah, they said
There was
that,
something that,
matter of local concern to county.
Yeah,
responded.
because previously there were some comments that
Correct.
were shared related to the change in the zoning text or the proposed text amendment. The county had provided a page or two of comments, but those comments are specific to the action before the town board related to the zoning text amendment.
okay.
And they don't have them again.
And they
this-
don't have
Correct.
them.
Yeah, this time around, because it's a smaller proposal.
It's a different proposal. We did
Different.
meet with them and talk to them as well to explain where we're at and why we were there.
All right. Rocco?
Okay, Ken, hi, I like the project, but I have a clarification, a question. On your chart, I thought that was a standalone building, but I see on one of your charts you show that it's standalone, and then the last chart, that one there shows that it might be connected to the rest of the mall?
It is, there's a physical connection right here, on the building where they do touch. It has
So there is access from...
there isn't physical access through the
No,
building,
it's a-
but it is a common wall between the two
There is,
buildings.
okay, because I always thought that you could drive around that.
Nope,
Oh, you cannot, okay.
Not
correct.
completely, no.
Is there any need, I'm not sure who to ask, Kristen or Bobby, is there any need to further isolate this building from the rest of the parking lot, given the type of use and the thing over, well, let me ask this, or maybe I'm premature, but will this be for self-storage, usually 24-hour access?
It would likely have key card access at night, like that. Any connection to the other facility wouldn't even impact it because the entrance would be at the current entrance on the north side of the property. Up here, there is no entrance, although there is one that is currently for the old Burlington, and I'll jump in just to show you.
Yeah, that's the,
Spin around.
spin around.
There is one here. This
Okay.
isn't going to be an entrance going forward. We had, even with the last application, this would be closed and be a false facade. There'd be nothing there. Maybe an emergency exit door, but that's about it.
Okay, so there's...
And the zoning text amendment is specific to this portion of the property as well.
Correct.
Okay, so there's no further need to further isolate this building and
Are you
lighting
concerned about like fire code or something?
No, it's just the way the parking lots are
Different use.
there and everything.
I mean, it was,
Just
yeah, I
curious
mean,
if there was
once the mall was opened up, then they would put that road in around so you can get to the back of the mall, straight, with those new shops there, but
because if I, now,
So
I
it's a
haven't
little wonky,
been there in a while, but some of that parking lot was not in great shape around Burlington. Is it still the same? I assume that's gonna be corrected.
They'll likely during the site work just go through and repave it.
Alright.
There hasn't been a tenant there, as we talked about, so it's very difficult to spend capital money to invest in
No,
that.
I understand, okay.
So we'll be there.
yeah, I was gonna
That's why
mention that
I think I'm
too.
premature here,
Because
so.
I think it's, the pavement looks decent on the north side, but the south side is where
South
it's
side, correct.
broken up there a bit. All right, anything, Nicole?
My only input was the last time that you had this in front of us, we talked about just kind of beautifying the entrances into the storage unit, with like shrubberies or trees or whatever. I mean, I know a lot of it is pervious, but yeah.
And we did add some shrubs, especially on the north
Right.
Yeah.
side.
The back entrance, do you think that's where you might have, like larger trucks and stuff like that come through?
There is a loading area
Yeah.
that is there, that's on this side of the building in here,
I'm wondering
which would remain.
I'm wondering if you probably just need to do it maybe at the front then and then possibly not at the back, right? Yeah,
And the back side of this does have some trees and shrubs already, what would be the south side.
yeah,
as I think that was almost more of a prominent entrance because of the old Kmart. People would park in there and go through, to where the old Kmart was. And the north side became kind of dead especially when the movies and stuff went away. So the primary focus is gonna be on the north side and putting some trees and shrubs along the front of that in what is now just grass.
Yeah, okay, all right, sounds good.
Yeah, that was my comments too. I know that, there's trees on the south side that soften the building, trees on the east side, and now you're putting all those shrubs on the north side as well.
Right.
So I guess it's just grass and a blank wall on the west side. I don't know if anybody has any comments on that, to throw some trees in there as well to soften that wall.
Well, that's the real back, the back.
Yeah,
That's the real back.
that's the back
Or
That's facing, 20 acres of wooded
Correct.
property. I don't know.
There's a lot of trees right across the street.
I guess, it's just,
A lot of buffer, and even if you actually look, and I'll share the screen again, there's quite a bit of infrastructure that goes back through that area. So we'd have to look at what's specifically in there. But if you look at the elevation, and that's on our property, that end of elevation.
yeah.
So no one's going to see it on that backside except for you're driving
yeah,
down.
it's been that way for decades.
Right.
So,
And the north side here would remain, the south side here,
there's
we
the
would
rough
keep
parking
these
there
trees,
and all those trees, that's.
maybe get rid of the mirrors, but.
Yeah.
Well, you said you're gonna come back
Yes.
for architecture.
Correct.
Before
Yeah,
you.
we'll deal with that.
So, yeah.
Correct.
Gotta reflect on
We'll
it.
reflect on it,
You were waiting for that one, Eric.
all right, as Peter said, it's great to reuse something empty, so it'll be good.
Don't worry, you'll get another chance to look at it. It's on for lead agency tonight, so.
Yeah, it's true, it's not, right, yeah, it's not a conditional approval, yeah.
All right, I move the planning board declare that its intent to be lead agency to coordinate the environmental review of the proposed project as a type 1 action and authorize the planning department's circulation of a notice of said intent dated November 20th, 2025, a copy of the EAF and a copy of the application to identified and interested and involved agencies.
Second.
Moved and seconded for lead agency, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 6-0.
I move the planning board defer further action on this application and direct the applicant to respond to comments in writing and planning of the planning board and those received from town departments and agencies, included but not limited to the following 1 through 9.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 6-0. Good
One
to
quick
go.
question, process-wise, for everybody. As we have to go back to the town board, in the past, we had talked about potentially, if everything's addressed and the board is comfortable, a conditional approval on that text amendment occurring, or do we have to come back here, get seeker, go back to the town board, and then come back again? Something to think about.
I believe you would have to do
It's
the
us,
2
then
trips.
them, then us.
Yeah, I think, because the next time, in theory, right, we'd be talking about a neg deck and a
Correct.
recommendation. You'd have to go to the town board, but until the zoning is actually in place, I don't think the board could I mean, Lisa, you're listening, I don't know if you have any thoughts about that, but, yeah.
Yeah, that's how we've always done it, is that the zoning has to be in place before the
Okay,
Yeah.
use can be approved.
okay,
Unfortunately,
We'll try to make it a short visit.
all good. We'll get to see you a few times in the new year.
yeah,
All right, thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
been a while. Yep, take care. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, you as well. We'll see you next month.
Next up is 328 North Grand Avenue. New application.
Good evening, everybody. Frank Ruddle, project manager for this, and with me this evening is Matt Nargi. How you guys doing? This is our first appearance before you. This is the existing site. It's zone residential, but it's been non-conforming for decades. There's existing structures on the property now. This long building here is already rented out. we've got permission, there's a tenant in there, they make sets for movies and Broadway plays. These two buildings here are empty, those are empty. We're under contract to sell the property to Matt Nargi, who owns and operates a landscaping business, Nargi Landscaping. His intent is to use these back two buildings and area here for his landscaping business. It's not a business where customers come in, therefore there's no need for signs or anything like that. And what we've done is we've tried to show outdoor storage area, parking. We've got a refuse enclosure there. This over here would be to store some mulch, very similar to what Page has, the walls that go up and you put the mulch inside. We've shown the existing driveway is blacktopped up to here. Incidentally, this house here, he has a driveway that comes in off of ours. He has deeded access. He has a right to use our driveway to access his home. I think I've supplied a copy of that document to the town. This area right here is very heavily wooded, and there's a big barn there. It's a two-story barn. Looks like it's about to fall down, but what's nice about it is with all the woods and that barn, the house can't really see anything. So we're not proposing any more screening there. I provided a photo of the trees with leaves. Now that they're down, I plan to go back and take another couple of pictures to show that there really is not any need for any additional screening there. We did receive the written comments from Kristen. A lot of them are technical. Some of them are just putting notes on the plan. There was some discussion with both Kristen's notes and Bobby about fertilizer. If there's going to be any fertilizer there, it comes in sealed, waterproof bags, and it would be stored in the buildings. There's no outdoor storage. Very similar to the way Adams stores theirs. So I don't think there's any problem with the DEC as far as that's concerned. Okay. I will talk to Chris Mills. I didn't see any comments from the fire department, but I'll give him a call just to make sure he doesn't have any issues with the site. We did provide showing access, being able to drive in with WD-40. Really, that's it. It's a pretty simple site. We're hoping that you feel the same way, but I'll be more than happy to entertain any questions or comments the board members may have.
All right, thanks, Frank. Let's move along to Kristen.
Great, thank you. So yeah, thank you, Frank. It is on for seeker review, site plan review, and architectural review. For seeker purposes, it's an unlisted action subject to a coordinated review. So at this meeting, we are telling staff, or staff is recommending that the planning board circulate their intent to be lead agency. As was noted, yes, planning staff definitely had a lot of technical comments, but also just a lot of clarification about material storage on the property. I'm definitely not going to go through all of these at this point, but one of the other items I just wanted to bring up is that the property is located on a parcel that is located adjoining parcels that are located in an agricultural district. And that might require just filling out a form. There's a form that we will require that you submit. We did circulate this application to the county planning department, and we received a matter of local concern response from them, so there were no comments. However, procedurally, we're gonna need to make sure that we are dotting i's, crossing t's for that, because there is a 500-foot buffer requirement. That's in essence what is now causing this to have to go through that process. So I just have to follow up with the county, make sure there's no additional review required on their end. I know that there's a town law reference as well. Lisa, I don't know if you wanted to weigh in, because I know that this had gone to the zoning board for a use clarification determination. It was determined that the proposed use is actually a lesser non-conforming use for the property in the zoning district. And so I just, I want to make sure that we don't get too far ahead and then you're backpedaling and having to return to boards or anything like that. So like letting us just move through this as efficiently as possible. So at this point, I would be looking to circulate it for lead agency intent and defer action with comments. And in the interim, hopefully we can have a conversation about what that other agricultural component looks like. I don't know that there are any concerns or any added layers here, other than it's a procedural step that needs to be followed, including noticing the neighbors, which these are large parcels, so you're really not hitting too many folks.
Yeah, they'll be notified for the public hearing, and the other thing is, we're not proposing any new additions or structures
Right.
or anything like that. The way the property sits is the way we want to use it.
Right.
We're not proposing anything.
And so I defer to council if there's anything additional, but at this point, that's all I have to share.
What we need to figure out is whether the adjacent parcels that are in the ag district are in agricultural use, and I hate air quotes, but that's so if they are, then that sets off some other potential requirements, and if they're not, if they're just being used for residential or non-agricultural purposes, then there are fewer, if any, requirements, so
But the
we'll
requirements are,
determine that before the next appearance.
right, but the requirements are really, the nature of those requirements is that it's notification, that's all it really is. So it's not going, those people are gonna get notifications of the public hearing too. We'll just have to make sure that the ag data statement is, referenced in that as well. So I think that's really all that matters.
All right.
Wouldn't it be up to the neighbors to prove that they're using the property as agricultural? I don't know how I can prove it. Unless I start driving
Actually,
the property.
we can find out, for example, if they take an ag assessment, or, that's pretty straightforward. We can figure that out, but it's.
Yeah, there's a threshold. I
Yeah.
think it's $10,000 a year is the threshold in the ag district.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be an issue, but it's something we just want to make sure we.
You got the
Dot every I and
procedure
cross the T somewhere.
The Plan B breweries, they're kind of an ag use there.
Plan B is definitely an ag use, but they may be more than 500 feet away.
Yeah, I
based
think
on
they
the.
are.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't
They also have
looked
to
into it.
reaffirm with the county, not the county, blanking on the name of the agency, it's the county agency that oversees the ag districts.
Yeah.
They have to provide an authorization every 5 or 10 years on that the property is still being used for ag use, and the owners have to submit to get that. So that's another source of record keeping.
Yeah, so based on the current mapping that's available through the county, it was updated with that information through July this year.
Yeah, it's brand new. They just recertified, I think, the districts recently.
I think so, yeah.
Anyway, not a big issue, but it's something we do have to cover.
Yeah.
Oh, and incidentally, another issue as far, I don't know if it was Bobby that raised it or if it was the building department, but we're not going to be adding any new bathrooms. We're having an arrangement that if any of Matt's employees have to use the bathroom, they can use the bathroom in the existing structure. The other tenant is cooperating, so we won't be adding any bathroom facilities.
Okay.
And you've checked with Bruce, and that'll be satisfactory, right? Just for the building department? Okay, just want to make sure that that's, okay.
Anything else, Kristen?
No, I think that's it at this point. And just because we brought up the building department comments, he does specifically say the applicant may want to look at a common facility in the main building, which can be accessed by all three tenants on the property. And the second comment is about open building permits on the property, which I know has been an ongoing conversation since you had come to us with the pre-app meeting. So hopefully still working through.
Yeah, once we get down the road, I would anticipate bringing the building department in, let them do their inspection. I think I have to bring Fred Riley in for a fire inspection and get that all tied up for the final CO.
All right.
We're not, with the changes though, we're not gonna be able to make those changes in time for the December agenda, so we'll be on in front of you for January.
Yeah, well, for the lead agency, I think it's only works out to be like 28 days between this meeting and December anyway, so technically you can't even come back in December, so January would be.
Yeah, so January. And given, it gives us some sufficient time, I was wondering if we could schedule this for the public hearing for January instead of just adjourning it.
Yeah,
for
you-
further proceedings.
So we don't have to, this board, that's basically when I receive your application, I take a look at it. If it's ready, we'll get it on for public hearing. But we don't set, like, the town board sets it a month in advance. We don't do that for the planning board. You can just submit your application and then I can put you on for a public hearing.
Yep.
But Bobby, did you have,
Yeah, a couple comments. The bathroom comment's good. I think, as we discussed at the pre-app meeting, Bruce said if they have some sort of agreement in place, that would be sufficient. There's some ADA parking. I just asked that they confirm with the building department that that does meet code requirements with the gravel surface and slopes. The equipment storage area, just looking for clarification if you would be putting down some sort of gravel surface or something to keep that neat and tidy. Also, the location of the storage bins seems like it might get difficult to access with your equipment. Just make sure that you think that'll function properly for your use.
Yep.
Or relocate it if you think that would be better. And then just a little more clarification on the plant and tree storage area. There's a couple things, there's a, percentage that you're showing, just maybe conversation with the zoning administrator to see if we need to delineate that in some way, whether it's just on the plans or if we need to put up some sort of fencing, post and rail fencing or something simple. And then you did touch on the fertilizer. I think if it's stored inside in watertight containers, that should be fine. We may just need some notes on the plans.
That's fine.
As long as the fertilizer's not in contact with rain precipitation, it shouldn't be an issue, because that would trigger an issue with the DEC and a general permit for stormwater discharges related to chemicals, so.
Can I speak into that real quick?
Absolutely.
So we're required, I'm required through New York State, through my license, that we actually essentially sign an agreement with the DEC that wherever we store now, they're allowed to show up and check at any time. So we do annual reports of everything we've purchased, everything we use, and what's left over. So it is a very vigorous process with them already that we go through. So we're not allowed to leave it outside. There's specific places we're supposed to put it and how we do that. And I know everybody says this, but we do take that very seriously, because I don't want fines from the DEC. So it's not left outside. Bags aren't allowed to be ripped. I actually can send them right back to the supplier and get a new bag. So all that process is already enforced upon us, which I'd be happy to share that documentation as well.
Thanks for clarifying. Plenty of regulations.
I think for our purposes, we just want to know, as long as they're inside, I think.
Which is very important.
Makes sense.
All right, anything else?
That's it.
Great.
Thanks, Bobby.
Yep.
Let's go around the board for comments. Nicole?
Were you going to be adding any lighting?
We had not planned on any lighting. Since it's not open to the public, we weren't planning on any lighting whatsoever. That's why we didn't supply a lighting plan.
Okay, and other than mulch and the fertilizer, is there any other materials that you're gonna be storing on this site that we should know about?
Well, plants, shrubs, trees.
Do you think you could put like a list together of any materials that would be on this site?
Sure when.
Okay. As far as the gravel's concerned, it's gonna stay gravel, you're not gonna pave it?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And then will you be doing any clearing of any shrubs or trees or anything?
This area here where the plant storage is, there's a lot of high grass and some reeds.
Okay.
We'll probably have to clear that little area out, but that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, look fairly open on the map. All right. Rocco, anything?
Yeah, hi. Just a clarification, please. I know you mentioned the red barn, but you didn't mention who owned it.
The neighbor owns that barn.
Okay. So now they're using that as part of the shield and for this property, but you also mentioned that it's ready to fall down.
It looks like it's in poor shape.
So we
It's
ought to
been there for
take that
decades.
into account during.
Yeah,
the
I'm not sure.
public hearing or whatever,
Yeah.
because, you know, if it falls down.
Yeah,
the
I'm
neighbor
not
comes
sure if
in
he-
and they complain.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the neighbor uses it at all. I just
Okay.
know it looks in poor shape to me.
All right, I was just curious because you mentioned it, but not the ownership.
I'll take some pictures of it so that you have a better idea.
All right, thank you.
Anything, Sharon?
Yeah, I have a question on, and I don't know who's gonna give an answer, this exhibit C in our packet. Is this on your property?
Yes, that's standing right here, taking a picture of the neighbor.
So what is this?
Oh, that is something that the tenant in the large building made for a Broadway show. They're supposed to be clouds. I asked him what it was supposed to be also.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I was supposed to be.
Doesn't
Like
really
an
look like it
animal.
to, doesn't look like it to me, but it's prepared for a Broadway show.
Okay. And that dumpster that's there, that's for everybody's use, or the?
That was, it's probably gone by now. It was temporary placement. The tenant in the large building had to clear out a lot of garbage from inside the building, and I think the dumpster's gone now.
And what's next to the budget truck here?
That was outdoor storage by the other tenant.
Okay. Gone or still there?
It should be gone. We told the tenant to clean it up.
Okay,
I'll double check that, though.
okay, thanks.
Michael?
I don't have any comments.
Peter?
I visited the site the other day, and it's been in service for quite a while. So I have kind of a tough question for you, and that is, there's an existing septic system?
Pardon me?
Is there an existing septic system?
Yes, it's private septic. I think it's municipal water and private septic.
Yep.
Do you have any idea of the location of the field?
I believe it's in front of the building out here.
Your next submittal, could you just put that on the plan?
Sure
And
can.
keep in mind, with the additional use, I would ask our town engineer to be mindful, because of the comment from the building inspector, if the septic system will be sufficient for the additional use, even with the placement in the building.
Okay,
That's a box that we have to check off.
okay.
Just to make sure. Good point. Anything else?
Thanks.
That's it. I guess my only question is that I guess you're selling it, but is the existing use is gonna be maintained there, the Broadway show thing?
I don't think so. She's indicated that she needs a larger space. So we envision that the tenant's gonna be leaving at the end of her lease, which is 2026.
Okay.
At which point, Matt will probably be using the building.
All right. Guess we're ready to move on for now.
I move the planning board declare its intent to be lead agency to coordinate the environmental review of the proposed project as an unlisted action and authorize the planning department's circulation of a notice of said intent, a copy of the EAF, and a copy of the application to the identified, interested, and involved agencies.
Second.
Moved and seconded for lead agency. Call to question, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
I move the planning board defer further action on this application and direct the applicant to respond to comments of the planning board and those received from town departments and agencies, included but not limited to the following 1 through 10.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Kristen, when we make our next submission, if it looks sufficient, we can put it on for public hearing for
Yeah,
January?
yep. In terms of the ag conversation and some of those other things, we can definitely set up a meeting, maybe
Yeah, but
not
it's-
next week, but,
I gotta get on
maybe the
that
following
right-
week.
Yeah, I wanna get on that right away.
Yeah, yep, more than happy to do that, yep.
Okay.
Be good
Thank
to
you,
move
everyone.
along, and good luck with your.
Thanks a lot.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks,
You too.
All right. Couple, time extensions we have, 231 North Road. I move the planning board grant 190-day time extension for 231 North Road parking application, moving the current approval expiration date from December 19th, 2025 to March 19th, 2026.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Go ahead.
BP4 Westerly House. I move the planning board grant 2 90-day time extensions of conditional site plan and special use permit approval from December 7th, 2025 forward to June 5th, 2026.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Salt Point Center, I move the planning board grant 2 90-day time extensions of conditional special use permit, site plan, and aquatic resource permit approval from December 19th, 2025 forward to June 17th, 2026.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
The Woods at Cliffdale subdivision, revised lot 6. I move the planning board grant 1 90-day time extension of conditional amended final subdivision approval from December 23rd, 2025 forward to March 23rd, 2026.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Any other business that the board wants to bring up tonight?
I move that we terminate tonight's meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded to end the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Have a good night, Lisa, and happy Thanksgiving.
Night, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.